Good morning, everyone. This is Tim Wilmot speaking from Wizard Systems. Thanks for joining me today for GoldMine 101, our regular series of GoldMine presentations. And this morning, I'm going to focus on your options in GoldMine, how you change your preferences, how you define the default settings for key areas of GoldMine, like showing customer records, finding records, how your calendar is displayed, how you interact with your activities and tasks in GoldMine. Now, this presentation will be approximately a quarter of an hour or so. It's just a basic overview of this feature, not meant to be in-depth training. My company, Wizard Systems, offer many extensive training options that you might like to consider. Now, on the call today, we've got a lot of people on different versions of GoldMine. There's about 34 people on the call, and I know that everyone's using different releases of GoldMine, but everything I mention is relevant to all versions of GoldMine that you're using there. Now, the audio part of this presentation is one way only. If you've got any questions during the session, please type those into the question box on your meeting control panel, and I'll do my best to answer those at the end of the session. It's probably best to type them in as you think of them rather than waiting towards the end of the session, just so that I've got enough time to get through those. Also, at the end of the session, I'll be giving you an update on any GoldMine product news. This call is being recorded as well, so after the presentation, you'll get an automatic email with a link to the recording so you can watch it at your own leisure, and we'll most likely pop it up on our YouTube channel as well. As I normally do on our Tuesday sessions, just a brief mention about Wizard Systems. We are a specialist CRM supplier of different CRM systems, including GoldMine, and all we do is implement these systems, support them. If you've got any requirements as regards additional assistance with GoldMine, doing upgrades, customizing more, integrating with other applications, automation, writing reports, just let us know. We provide a lot of extensive training options. We can train you at your place, your premises. You can come to our offices near Bristol, or we can do training online. And we've got a GoldMine help desk, so we're ready to answer any calls or queries you've got concerning your use of GoldMine. So on to the topic that we want to cover today, your GoldMine options and preferences. Let me just expand my little demonstration system here. So this is the latest version of GoldMine, and a typical way of accessing your options is by clicking on this options button here on your GoldMine toolbar. That will display a little pop-up window with a number of tabs across the top. Now this morning I'm only going to cover these 6 tabs on the lower row here. The other options, typically they would be, if there's more than one of you, there's a group of you using GoldMine, one of you may be appointed as the systems administrator in inverted commas, so the person that sort of controls or may set up some of these more system critical options here. So please, if you want to change anything as regards how you work with email, general login, login setups, please contact your GoldMine system administrator for more information on that, or indeed Wizard Systems. So first of all, on the personal tab, of course this is information about you, and you can pop in here your job title, maybe a mobile phone number, and this information will come up normally in emails that go out from GoldMine. Of course, many of us on the call are using GoldMine for sending and receiving our emails. So on your email signature files or in your email templates, you can define these additional settings for you, your job titles. So every time you send out an email, your job title is going to be there, your other contact details, social network information, and so on. On the record tab, this is relating to how contact records appear. So here is a contact record, of course, the base unit of information in GoldMine. and things that you can change such as the background color, light or dark, the selection of large font if you want to, date formatting as regards any date field in GoldMine, whether you want it to appear in more of a UK or European type format there. Some other options there. Top right corner, a very important little section here, zip code validation. This is a bit of an inheritance from the American setup for GoldMine, in that it's shipped with a zip code lookup table, which is of course not used in the UK. We do have our own postcode lookup options or add-ons to GoldMine, and typically you would set this to no validation, so that's a nice setting to select there. And then improves the way you, when you add in records or when you change a record, it's not going to bring up a sort of zip code lookup table for you. And then the contact window title, whether you want to see the person's name or the company name. On the calendar, if you're using the calendar to manage your activities, display typically your meetings or anything that's got a timing and a duration to it, then you can define your normal working week there with different colors and font sizes. You can also put in your public holidays. You can also define more options as regards how appointments appear in the calendar, whether you want to see, for example, the location of the appointment or the salesperson's name or some other subject details relating to the appointment or task. Those can be defined in your options there. We've got our normal work days there, and finally on the right hand side there's a little section called auto rollover. Now what this does, if I for example checked this box here, calls, if I, of course using GoldMine I'm scheduling calls, if I don't complete any of those calls today, when I log in tomorrow those calls are brought forwards to the current day's schedule, which you might think is a really good idea, really clever thing that GoldMine does, but be warned, it's changing the due date of the phone call. So if you had scheduled a call for Tuesday, it will now appear as a call due for Wednesday. You wouldn't immediately know that the call should have been done on Tuesday. And of course, if you're doing any reporting on phone calls or activities on a due date, then for this user, if they've got this setting ticked here for auto rollover, it could give some erroneous results. So just be a little bit careful. The default is it's off. I would advise you just leave it off. With GoldMine, when you look at your activities or your calendar, nothing's going to disappear. When you schedule it, it's always going to be there until you do something with it. So just be a bit careful with that section there as regards auto rollover of uncompleted activities. On the scheduling tab, this relates to primarily how you work with the activity list and your completion of calls. A nice few options here are prompting to schedule a follow-up call when completing an activity, and also carrying over completion notes when scheduling follow-up phone calls. So imagine you're completing a phone call, you're typing in some notes that you've gathered during that phone call, and then you have the prompt to follow up, make another follow-on activity. Well, the notes that you just typed in are carried forwards automatically to the new activity. They will appear against the old activity and they're automatically brought forward to the new activity. So a great little time saver there, and a nice way that when you're looking through your activities you can also see at a glance the old notes that have been brought forwards from older things that you might have done with that customer. And then alarms, of course, a key part of managing your activities. For certain activities you may want to alarm them. Be a bit careful. We have had some clients alarming every activity, and it can make for a difficult situation to manage where every single activity is alarmed. So for those important activities that are alarmed here, you can decide the warning time for the alarms. You can also actually have the alarms start when you log into Windows, not necessarily GoldMine. So even though you're not logged into GoldMine per se, you can still be alerted to important due activities. And you can also play a little sound effect as well when an alarm becomes due. Finally, on the Lookup tab, this is really how the Contact Search Center works. And again, the default setup there. And then when you've completed your search, what's going to happen to that contact search window. So that's a quick run through of those options there. There are other things that you can, of course, set up and define your own GoldMine environment as regards the tabs that you see across the contact window there. Also the actual icons, the options that you see in your GoldMine toolbar as well. They tend to be, once they're set, they tend to be what we call a sticky setting, so that when you log out of GoldMine, when you log back into GoldMine, you should have the very same appearance of those options there and your tabs across the contact search, across the contact window. So, as I normally do, go back to answer any questions that you've got concerning options, or indeed anything to do with GoldMine. Please feel free to ask me any questions. And let me just look at my questions section my end. So first one is from Merle, I think it is. When I log in, can I default to show my activity list? Yes, it will. It will. If the activity list had been open the last time you used GoldMine, then it will display. It might default to display right in front of you when you log in the last contact, the last customer record you were working with. If you want the actual activity list to appear in front of you rather than a contact, there is a way of doing that, and I can email some little instructions on how to do that after this call, Mel. Next question from Kelly. Telephony, I saw an option for that. Can it link to my phone system? We use a Samsung. Right, there's a few options on integrating GoldMine to telephone systems. There is a TAPI, T-A-P-I integration. So if your phone system is TAPI compliant or TAPI compatible, there's some extra low-cost software that we could supply to you to allow you to auto dial from GoldMine and to pop up or locate a customer record, screen pop a customer record on an inbound call. You may also find that your phone system provider, and indeed this is the case with our own internal phone system at Wizard Systems, you may find that the phone system provider has provided their own integration, their own links with GoldMine. GoldMine being a popular CRM system, many of the main phone system providers have produced some built-in standard integration there to popular systems like GoldMine. So hopefully that helps you out, Kelly. Next question from Dean. Has the alarm function changed? As in the past, any alarm set would only show them in date and time order, or is it still the same? If you're relating to an older version of GoldMine, they're dealt with individually now, Dean, so there's a much better way now of handling alarms with the newer version of GoldMine to allow you to hand them individually rather than in bulk. So it makes it much easier to decide individually what happens to those alarmed activities. Yes, Vanessa, I got your message. Yes, you'll get a link to this after the call. I'll send you a link to the recording. Okay, I don't think there's any more questions coming through. I'd just like to bring you up to date now with the latest news. GoldMine Hotfix 4 is due out this week. It has been delayed a couple of weeks, and this will have a lot of improvements to the way the Outlook integration works with the way that we integrate with Outlook email and allowing you to synchronize calendar and contact information. Also 2016.1, the next major release of GoldMine, that's due out in late May. More on that in a later session. We do have some places on a Crystal Reports training course for GoldMine on the 20th of April. Crystal Reports, for those of you that may not know, is one of the standard reporting tools for GoldMine. It used to be supplied with older versions of GoldMine, but doesn't anymore. But it still remains one of the key reporting tools for GoldMine. So we'll be running through how you use that reporting tool there, creating reports, some nice professional looking reports from GoldMine information, and indeed other applications as well. If you've got any suggestions for future sessions, something that would take up, say, 10 minutes of our time to go through, something that's maybe been bugging you as regards your use of GoldMine. It could be of interest to other GoldMine users as well. Please let me know, and I'd like to include that on any future sessions. Now, there may not be a session next week, so the next one may be 2 weeks from now. We'll be sending out a mailing for those in about a week and a half's time, so watch out for those. But thanks very much for your time this morning. Keep an eye out for the recording, and we'll hopefully catch up with you next time. Thanks very much indeed.